Hi, it's Cara. Welcome to my channel. Today we're doing July's Bookopoly deal TBR. I'm so sorry, I have no idea what's going on with the lighting today. The sun is coming and going, so we're just gonna hope for the best. So if you weren't aware, Bookopoly Deal is my TBR game. Each month we play Bookopoly Deal, or Monopoly Deal, but the book version, I guess, like using prompts to select my TBR for the month. I was having a bit of trouble with setup. I was not feeling very well, and the setup just wasn't happening as per usual this time, so it's a little bit of a different format for the pre-filmed actual Bookopoly Deal content, but we're here, we're doing it, let's go team. So the goal of Bookopoly Deal is to collect one whole property set. Every property is a prompt or a category of which I have to pick a book. And there's some other things involved in the game, but mostly it's around money. In the case of cash, for every cash card I accrue during the game, I have to make sure a book is picked. So sometimes it can add a big old cash bonus to my number of books I have to read during the month. There's also past goes, which add another draw once we've already completed the set. There's rent and things which impact the prompts. To be honest, it's kind of been a little bit since I filmed this, so I can't remember. I remember there being no rent, no plus goes. I think there was a little bit of cash, but it wasn't too much from my memory. But let's jump in. Oh, also, I don't think I've announced this officially, but if I fail Bookopoly for any reason, and like I'm really not set up to fail, but it could happen maybe. I don't challenge myself too overly much in this kind of game, but if I do somehow fail, I'm really set up to fail, because the month after I fail a month, I have to get to 2 property sets before my TBR is done. You heard it, folks. Haha. It's not happening this month. I'm not gonna let it. I've finished my TBR, my Bookopoly Deal TBR for June, so we're safe this month, but that is the punishment if we fail. Let's get started. So here's the first card draw. So first off, we pulled out Paul Mall, and this is an adult high fantasy. And for that, I decided to pick up Malice by Heather Walter. Paige, my friend Paige from Pages with Paige, blah, 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 recently read this, and she was absolutely obsessed with it. She blew through it in like a day. It is a queer retelling of Sleeping Beauty. This cover is not my absolute fave, but I get the vibes from it, and I am very excited to read it. I'm very excited to read it. I don't know much about the actual plot, but I think I'm gonna really love it. The text is quite big actually, so I think I could fly through this as well, especially if I get hooked the same way Paige got hooked. I'm hopeful. Out Wildcard Red Yellow, which is an other genre, which is murder, mystery, romance, that kind of thing that I don't have a specific category for elsewhere classified. So for it's either that or a contemporary. For the Wildcard Red Yellow, and I picked something that's like a contemporary murder mystery, and that's The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. This is the 4th Truly Devious novel, and it's kind of like follows the same characters but doesn't follow the plot of the original trilogy, because the original trilogy was not 3 kind of self-contained mysteries, it was 1 big mystery, and this is a new mystery. I'm really excited about it. My copy hasn't arrived yet, but it shipped yesterday, so I should be getting it any day. I'm very, very excited about it. Look at this sun, like what is going on? So yeah, I should be getting my hands on it anytime. I loved the original trilogy. I'm very excited to read this. Obviously it just came out. I'm psyched. Then we got Wildcard Stations or Utilities, and that's a 2020 release or a 2019 backlist. I decided to go with the 2020 release and I drew it from my jar. Actually I drew a couple from the jar and then picked my favorite, because I need normally 3 from the 2020 releases section anyway, so I did that with Paige and April on FaceTime, and I drew 3 and then picked the one that was the one I was most excited about to be the one counted for Bookopoly deal. So that is I'll Be the One by Lila Lee. This is a cute contemporary featuring a Korean main character, and she's bisexual, and it's about K-pop. It's also plus size. I know next to nothing about K-pop, but I was really excited for a plus size bisexual main character. She's chunky, it's cute, and I'm just excited. This looks really cute and fun. I've had it on my shelf obviously since last year and I'm excited to read it. I just haven't prioritized it yet. So this is the one that's going on Bookopoly deal, so it's definitely getting read in July. Then we drew Euston Road. This is a 2019 release from an author of colour, and I decided to go with Jade War by Fonda Lee, which I've been eyeing off for a while because book 3 comes out at the end of the year. This is book 2 in the Greenbone saga. Book 1 is Jade City, which I really enjoyed. It was dense though and hard and complicated, so I've been kind of scared to read this, but I think I will really like it. It is chunky though. It's like 600 pages. And it's not the only chunky thing on my little list, but this is a adult fantasy set in a area slightly inspired by Hong Kong, but it is a blend of many different inspirations across Asia, and it is it's a like wuxia martial arts inspired, or is it Hong Kong martial arts inspired? Are they different? There might not be. It's inspired by martial arts films and stories, and is really following that kind of idea, but all the people can wear jade and it gives them like extended powers. I really enjoyed book 1. I'm gonna read book 2 finally so I can read book 3 when it comes out. We had Trafalgar Square, which is a romance, and for this I decided to read Thornfruit by... who is Thornfruit by? Felicia Davin. I'm going to be reading this. This is book 1 in the Gardener's Hand trilogy, and I'm going to be reading this along with KJ and Dylan as part of our polyamory plot hole book club, which we recently started. It's pretty low key. There's no high stakes pressure to join. We're going to be having a live show each, like pick a book and have a live show each month that's going to feature polyamory. Is the whole thing. There's a Twitter, I'll link it below, where we'll be announcing books. I don't even think I've announced this yet. I need to announce it. But Thornfruit is going to be our book for July. So that's what's going this far. It's a fantasy romance featuring polyamory, and I think one of the love interests is non-binary. I think it's 2 women and a non-binary character, I believe, though I'm not 100% sure. I can't quite remember, but I think that's right. I know Dylan's already read it before and he was really excited about it, so I'm excited. Next up we got Wildcard Purple Orange, which is a adult or a young adult speculative fiction. And for that I decided to go with The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke, which is another chunky one. Also published through Orbit. Since 500 pages, not 600 pages, but Still chonky. This is a sapphic fantasy. I think it's like a thief fan. It says epic fantasy debut of uprising, espionage, and empire. I love a good political intrigue fantasy, and it's queer, so we're here for it, right? It's yeah, pretty chunky, but I'm very excited to read it, and I hope it lives up to all my expectations. I hope I love it. Finally, we drew Waterworks, which wrapped up everything because this is our second utility. Gets us a full set. Waterworks is a 2019 backlist, or no, not or, just first in a series or standalone. And for that, I decided I was running out of first in a series. Most of them were standalone, so I decided to go with The Light Between Worlds by Laura Weymouth. This is I've read something from I read A Treason of Thorns by Laura Weymouth, and I'm really excited about her next book as well, so I need to go back and read this. This is a portal fantasy, and that's about as much as I know, but I know the American cover is like silver with a stag on it, and I think it looks gorgeous, but this also looks gorgeous. I love this cover, and it has French flaps and then the stags on the inside. I don't know, I think it's gorgeous. It has like airplanes and bombs and stuff. I think maybe it has something to do with like Nazi stuff, like the bombing of London, maybe. So it has some, like, the synopsis reminds me of Chronicles of Narnia kind of stuff. I'm excited to read this. I think it's going to be so good, but I don't really know that much about it. It's YA. So that's it for Bookopoly deal, but there's obviously some other things I need to be reading as well, so let's chat about those. First off, we have Allomancer Jack and the Pit of Eltania, which is in Arcanum Unbounded. It's the story that April and I are going to be reading from Brandon Sanderson this month. It's pretty short. It's only like that much, so it shouldn't take me too long, but it needs to get done, so there's that. I also desperately want to read The Weight of Our Stars by Kay Ancrum because her next book, Darling, is coming out, and I haven't read this yet. So to get Darling, I need to read this. I'm going to read it. Darling is this is like a companion-esque book to The Wicker King, following different characters but set in the same town. And it's sapphic. Darling is unrelated, but I need to read this first. So we're going to read this. The main character's name is Ryan. It's a sci-fi-esque queer story. I think the main character's mum like left for space and is never coming back. I don't actually know about the actual plot of this. It's very short format writing, which The Wicker King was as well, and I really flew through The Wicker King, so I hope this will go fast as well. Then we have the buzzword readathon reading challenge that Books and Lala kind of set up and set free. The prompt for this month is last is the buzzword. So I'm going to be reading The Last True Poets of the Sea by Julia Drake. This is a kind of fabulous contemporary following a girl whose something happened in a shipwreck, or they have a shipwreck in their town. I don't really know. There's little pictures and stuff in this, which is cute. I'm excited to read it. I've been meaning to read it for ages, and it's been on my TBR before, but I think it's got a lot to do with grief and mental health, and I'm excited about it. And it's kind of sapphic, I believe, but very vague. I'm not really sure. I'm excited. Then I talked about drawing some stuff from jars. The other two books I drew for my 2020 releases section were Seven Deadly Shadows by Courtney Alameda and Valin E. Matani. I'm pretty sure April gifted this to me for a birthday or Christmas or something. I can't quite remember what event or when it was, but this is a Japanese inspired fantasy. Maybe it's set in modern Japan and then they like deal with some fantasy stuff. It definitely has to do with Shinigami, but I don't really know how the plot runs or if it's like contemporary with crossover into fantasy. I'm not sure. I'm gonna try and get to this, but obviously what I've already talked about is the priority. The rest are like bonus stuff. So this is on my bonus section. And the third one I drew from that jar was Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston. Again, I'll try to get to this if I can. This is a fantasy, I think. Is it her first fantasy from Ashley Poston? Or has she written fantasy before? I'm not sure. It's a kingdom kind of stuff with a cursed wood. I don't really know the details of this, but I love the cover and I've heard good things about Ashley Poston's writing in general. So I'm excited to try this. I love this cover. Yes. And then as always, I would like to pick something from my, what I call my TBR veterans shelf, which are things I've just had for ages. All of my other sections are kind of cut up into when I received them, and these are old. And so I'm going to be trying to read Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I've dabbled with the idea of unhauling this a few times, but something keeps holding me back. So we're going to try and get to it this month. We'll see. I might hate it. We'll see. I'm not explaining that one. I feel like you should know what it is. Some books that I don't have in my possession yet, but will have hopefully by the month that I'm hoping to get to include Witch Shadow by Susan Dennard, which is the 4th book in the Witchland series. I'm really excited about that. Also The Chosen and the Beautiful by Nevo. I really want to get to, I'd love to get to The Ghosts We Keep by Mason Diva. I'm just rushing through these. A Psalm for the Wild Belt by Becky Chambers. I think I'll read like instantly when I get it. I talked about What Big Teeth by Rose Sabo. Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas, but also The Witch King by H.E. Edgman. I would love to get to. That's a super queer. Ace of Spades by Farida Obike Iamide. I am obsessed with the idea of, I want to get to this so bad. Perfect on Paper, I'm hoping to get to the end of this month, but it might not happen, so I'd like to carry that over if I can. Same with Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Booley. Haven't gotten to it yet, but hope to maybe if I can squish it in, but I'm getting a bit busy. I'd also love to get to Blackwater's Sister by Zan Cho and The Beautiful Ones by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I think that's it that I have here sitting here. Sorry, I'm rushing, my camera battery light is flashing at me. But yeah, those are some of the books that are new releases that I would love to get to. But obviously Bookopoly deal is first priority, and we'll see how far I get in the month. There's also a bunch of audiobooks I would love to read, but I won't go through them today because none of them were for Bookopoly deal, but you will see them in my wrap up when I get to them. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you soon with another video. So it was a bit rushed in the end, but thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.